The Texans hit the field with a 53-man roster. Nick Caserio in a hurry to make moves. We have a practice squad. We'll hear from the underdogs. A lot of stuff going on around here. And oh, by the way, we're about a week away from the season. Another live edition of The Locker Room begins now.
Yeah. Yeah. It's The Locker Room on YouTube. You know what it is. Let's get it. Hey. Locker room, yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk, yeah, you know what we about to do. Localize, every angle's what we really do. We the source, we the pulse of the city too. Landlocked, got the game in the headlock. Localized every time, can't stop, won't stop. Yeah, we top two and we not too. Plugged in, daily digital on YouTube.
All right, we have a very active day. Yesterday, we got the official 53. Today, we got a practice squad. I'll be damned. We got a practice squad. And some good news, some bad news. We'll get into that. Nick Caserio spoke today. He had some interesting things to say. He also seemed to be in a little bit of a hurry. We got to hear from the underdogs. And we got some other stuff to touch on. The big news, though, Will Anderson, he was on the field. Wasn't in pads, but nobody was in pads. And he was going through all the walkthroughs, all that. He wasn't on the side getting work in. So the talk about Will Anderson potentially being ready and no concern there, that kind of increased today. We also heard from Nick Caserio. Nick Caserio, some interesting-ish things to say. Talked about, Noah Brown, shouted out Noah Brown. I asked him about Case Keenum. If you missed that, you can go back to the live stream practice video from earlier today and check that out. We talked about that. He basically a lot of generic stuff from Caserio. He wouldn't tell me how much he sleeps. He was a little bit. I think he thought I was kidding. I really want to know how much Nick Caserio sleeps. I don't think he sleeps that much. And this is a guy who doesn't eat carbs. Doesn't drink, looks like he's kind of getting jacked, even more so than he was. This was Nick Caserio, and I was dead serious about this. I think he thought I was kidding, but I really wanted to know, sir, how much do you sleep? And this was after we actually had someone faint earlier today. Shout out to Sam from the Chronicle. His first day, he fainted. He was okay. We got him some water and all that type of stuff, and training staff checked on him. So I think that's a hell of a way to start off. I think that's a hell of a first day. If you're going to be okay, fall down, faint, that's badass, man. They remember you, brother. They remember you, my friend. So shout out to him. Here was Nick Caserio, though. Basically, my question was, we've all seen the Nick Caserio draft picture where he's got his legs up. I won't duplicate that. He's got his hands behind his back, and he's looks relieved. This is kind of a different thing because you trim down the 53, and then all of a sudden, less than 24 hours from them, everybody else is trimming down their 53. By the way, Allie Gay, if you were hoping Allie Gay would get on the practice squad, Amy Adams Stank, the stanky one, her and the Titans picked him up. So the Allie Gay dream is officially dead. We will not see him in a Texans uniform. In fact, we could see him in an Oilers uniform, which kind of a damn shame. I want to shout out the people at BetUS for sponsoring this video as well. Shout out to BetUS. Right now, you can get 125% back on your first 3 deposits up to $2,000. Courtesy of BetUS. There's a lot of fun bets being made. We might even make one in the middle of this. We got the college football action coming up, so maybe we'll get some prop bet action on college football. Who knows? Just depends how crazy I'm feeling. But shout out to BetUS for doing their thing. Here was Nick Caserio. This was what Nick Caserio had to say when I asked him about the difference in the way you feel post-draft versus how you feel now. And I was dead serious about this other question. I think he thought I was trying to be funny.
To your question, there's not really a kind of, relaxation period. It's just there's different segments. it's very fluid. I'd say the roster building process is continuous. It's very fluid. Some points are more fixated than others, right? The draft's a draft. You kind of know what that looks like. All right, 53, we kind of have a segment, a picture, a time, understanding it's going to change. So it's continuous. We'll look today, we'll look tomorrow, we'll look throughout the course of, the next week or so. And then by the first game, for the most part, you have an idea. You probably have some adjustments on the fringes. Now, if you're forced to do something because of injury or something else, some extenuating circumstances, then you're going to go ahead and do it.
So how much did you sleep last night?
The amount I normally do.
What is that?
Which isn't much.
What is it? Talking 4 or 5?
Handful of I get enough. I'm ready to go there. So to your question.
I was serious, brother. I was serious, my friend. So I was kind of serious. I think the range, like the majority think it's probably close to 4 hours. How much Nick Caserio sleeps? I don't know how you function like that. Maybe when you eat perfectly healthy and you exercise all the time, it's probably easier to function on 4 hours sleep. But shout out to everyone in the room. Appreciate y'all for rolling through. Be sure to like the video. But yeah, I really want to know how much Nick Caserio sleeps. I really, really want to know. That's probably want to know that more than anything. The interesting moment of the day was this was just funny. So practice probably ended at about, I would say 11:25, 11:30. Don't quote me on that. I'd say that was about it. I think podium was 30 minutes. We got out of there at like 12-ish. So yeah, I'd say 11:30-ish. At 10:56, Caserio, 10:55, Caserio started sprinting towards NRG from the practice field, ran up the stairs and everything. Hell of a pace. Look, I don't think he was running late or anything. I think he just wanted to be in his office at 11 to put together the practice squad. I don't think that's a joke. But yeah, he was in a dead sprint. And shout out to Nick Caserio. I don't think the Dolphins took Tim Boyle to try to get a game plan. I don't think they're playing. That would be a hell of a move. I mean, that would be the ultimate sign of respect. I think that would be really, really weird. I think the Colts got the Colts. Maybe they would do something like that. But Tim Boyle, you think the Dolphins are picking someone up for December for a December matchup? I don't think so, there, buddy. No disrespect. P. Katie says, with my kids, I was rolling on 4 or 5 hours sleep for sure. Respect what you're doing too, sir. Yeah, my daughter sleeps pretty well. Which means when we have another kid or whatever, it's going to be a tear. I'm probably going to be like looking even more like droopy under the eyes than I do. I'm going to look like Pete Davidson or something like that. But yeah, it's good sleep. D'Amico's got a newborn too, so there's that. So yeah, but no game plan thing. Will was out there. I mean, he was going through walkthrough. He walked out there intensely too, man. He had the beanie on his head. He looked like he was like a UFC fighter. Will Anderson just walking out there, like he almost looked like he was like coming down the aisle. Just like a badass. But I mean, it was a light practice, but I mean, when they were out there moving around, installing stuff, 51 was out there. So this was what Will looked like walking to the field. He had his damn game face on. Here's Will walking to the ring, field, whatever the hell you want to call it. Look at this guy. Does this look like a guy that doesn't think he's playing soon? This guy. Here he comes. Okay. That's business right there. Now he had those on. So he was going out there. I mean, he was doing a little bit, but this was probably the lightest practice. D'Amico said he's treating this one like a bye week because he said they earned it with how hard they got together. They got like a VIP event tomorrow. So yeah, Will was out there. The most interesting development, and if you listen to this stream or you watch this stream, you know we were all over this. Well, a lot of people were. But British Brooks is he's a fullback, and I'm actually going to give you guys a visual of what the new roster looks like. I have the spreadsheet, and I've put the IR people along with the practice squad, kind of color coded it a little bit, so we can get a look. And I actually put Brooks at fullback, so we'll look at that in a sec. But here was a look at him. You looked at the running backs, and Stutz was like, "Hey, where's British Brooks?" And I was like, I'm going to look to my right. Oh, there he is. He's with the tight ends. He's holding bags and blocking and all that type of stuff. So that was a little bit – this is what that looked like. You see him right there. Look at him. Ready to go. We'll hear from him in a sec. He seems like he's kind of the local guy. Man, that looks like some good form right there. Looks like he'll knock your head off. I don't know about this British Bulldog nickname, though, that Stutz is trying to give him. He did say that he has – what the hell is an XL bully? Like, is that like the massive Bulldogs? Because he said he has a 130-pounder, and he lived on the third floor, and he said that kind of helped him get healthy. First of all, I would hate to live below you for a number of reasons. First of all, you're making a lot of damn noise. Second of all, I'm not going to say a damn thing to you because you're British Brooks. Freaking fullback for the Texans, which is what we're calling him. Blue Boy 9 says he got to confirm with McLean about Willis' current weight. Will already said that he was 260. So he actually confirmed it himself. So I think he did it. I think McLean might ask the question, but I'm not sure. Seth talked about Will gaining weight right after the draft. He called it 15 pounds. I can't remember. Yeah, Will said it himself. Will said he went from 146 and was getting roughed up in preseason or not preseason. Damn, the opposite. In the playoff game against the Ravens, he said he put on 15 pounds. Still looks small next to Daniil Hunter. I don't want to discourage him. I'm just saying Daniil Hunter is a massive human being. Shout out to Seth though. Seth Payne, 6 a.m. Sports Radio 610 with Pendergast. Really all I really need from there. Harris County vibes, talking about Christian Harris. Yeah, that was on a tee though. Like if a guy last name Harris is balling out in Harris County, that was kind of easy. Brooks is our British Bulldog. Okay, so we're sticking to that. I wish I would have asked him, man. I forgot. Brooks had to cut that story off before the Toro Times started calling him Vic. Any news on Tim Settle? When might he be ready to play? He was out there. 98 was out there. So now, I guess, again, light practice, but 98 was out there. So there's that. He's not on IR or anything. He was out there, and he's moving around a little bit. So, yeah, not too concerned about that. Do you think Sims stays on the 53? I don't. And we'll get a visual of that. I think y'all are really going to appreciate this visual layout that we're gonna go over at the end of this stream. Be sure to like the stream though. Be sure to subscribe. Be sure to like. Be sure to ride along. I got to get all the basic stuff out. But I got the visual for you. We'll hear from 3 underdogs. It was an underdog podium day. British Brooks, his first podium appearance. Miles Bryant, he's on the squad. We'll hear from him. And then Xavier Hutchinson. I enjoy hearing Xavier Hutchinson talk. He's got kind of the innocence about him. So we'll why should we call Brooks British Bulldog? That's a dead man wrestling name. Yeah, and a druggie too. Look up the British Bulldog. I actually enjoyed that documentary. I didn't know he was so much of a druggie. I know wrestlers are druggies. I didn't know he was a druggie. My wife always gets pissed when I watch those wrestling documentaries. She acts like I'm basically watching it live. And then she's like, kind of got a point, I'll be honest. They all end the same. They're all druggies and they end up dying and it ends up being sad. I don't know if I can argue that one. I want to defend it, but it does kind of seem like there is a theme. When Harris comes back, do you think they cut Sims? Look, Sims is one of those guys that's on the edge that I would probably be leasing and not buying. Pendergast referred to Sims as the fourth member of the special teams. So, like the special teams guys, today in the punt return line, he was number one. So he was going first, and then they had Tank and Woods back there. So he was back there. I saw D'Angelo Ross is one of the guys on the practice squad. So Boyd, Miles Bryant's going to play some special teams. Obviously Neville Hewitt, MJ Stewart. So I don't know if he'd be the fourth guy in the special teams. Not sure. Why did they keep Jamal Hill? I'm not sure. I really don't know. Maybe special teams. He really hasn't done much. Maybe they thought he would get picked up, and they didn't want to try to sneak him out. The only person who got picked up was Ali Gay. So Ali Gay was the only guy who got picked up and didn't go through waivers. So they seem to have played that right. I'm curious if the hype around Brooks is because of the Pierce mediocrity. I don't think so. I mean, I think I think the fact that he can play fullback, or that they feel like he can play fullback, I think that kind of helps him. I don't know that Dameon Pierce, the hype is around him. I would say the Akers hype intensifies because of it, but I don't think so. But who knows? To clarify, meaning Sims with kick, punt, and kicker, punter, and long snapper. Yeah, but I think there's other guys that are special teamers too. I would have to hear how Sean said it. I will say this: Sean and Seth are two of your best resources, and I would say that the top resources when it comes to that format, and they do other stuff too. So I don't know how he said it. I just think like if we're counting just special teamers, I think you could say MJ Stewart is that. I think you could say Chris Boyd is that. And I think you can almost say Hewitt is that, although he might get some more run at linebacker, depending on what the hell they're going to do with Harris out. So, yeah, I don't know. But we'll see how it looks. The defense is going to be interesting, to say the least. It seems like there's depth concerns at damn near every position. It seems like everyone's kind of freaking out about the defense, which I'm not saying it's irrational. I think it's rational concern, and we'll see what they can get out of their defense. I do think they're good, though, at very important spots, specifically the end and the corner positions, especially if Will Anderson is back. So that's the good news when it comes to that. Okay, let's look at the practice squad. We have an official practice squad. Let's introduce your 2024 Houston Texans practice squad. But first, before that, we have a super chat. Thank you very much for swarming the super chat, Logan.
You ain't never hate.
Swarm.
Thank you, sir. Who do you think is available in waivers for linebacker and DT that is worth possibly bringing in? I'll be honest with you. Every time people get excited about like a linebacker or a defensive tackle, it seems like it's always like damaged goods. Like this guy was drafted in the first round 4 years ago, but he's been on 3 teams, like the CJ Henderson, Okuda type of moves. There's been times where they brought in guys and you've been like, who is this guy? And they figured out. So I don't have like a specific name. Like I didn't look at the 53s and say, wow, I really like this guy. But I am glad that Harris is back on the practice squad. I think he's a developmental guy. That was one of the guys that I think that D'Amico and them can do. And I think they actually brought back some names that are intriguing for that. But I do trust them. But I would be faking it, which is not something I really do if I just threw out a name. So let's look at this practice squad. And let's get to know these guys. Okay, Solomon Byrd, the 7th round pick out of USC. You are on the practice squad.
We in here talking about practice.
Cameron Irving, former 1st round pick. There's probably multiple teams that hate him because he kind of underachieved and didn't live up to his draft spot. He has played every damn position though. You are on the practice squad.
We in here talking about practice.
Malik Fisher, defensive end. Don't really have like a bio for you, whatever.
We in here talking about practice.
Troy Harrison, former D end, converted fullback 2 years ago. We saw him on the field. Last year, we saw him get hurt. Troy Harrison, straight from Detroit. You were on the practice squad. By the way, his father's a cop, if you want to know an interesting fact. Troy Harrison.
We in here talking about practice.
I like Johnny Johnson a lot. Mark Vandermeer, I think he might be his favorite player of all time. Harris likes him as well. This guy, I've said this 100 times, if he would have tried out for the Texans, maybe from 2016 all the way to 2023, maybe, he might have made the squad. Johnny Johnson, I'm happy that he's here. I actually like that guy a lot. And I think he's easy to root for. Johnny Johnson, you're on the practice squad.
We in here talking about practice.
D'Angelo Ross, we thought that maybe Frank Ross would want to keep D'Angelo Ross as the special teams guy. They look at him as a special teams ace. Instead, they kept Chris Boyd. D'Angelo Ross, I anticipate that D'Angelo Ross could be active a few times this year just on special teams. But for now, you're on the practice squad.
We in here talking about practice.
David Sharp and J.J. Taylor. J.J. Taylor showed a little bit of juice. We saw him in special teams. A couple of good runs in the preseason. Also had the recovery on punt return. He is on the practice squad along with David Sharp.
We in here talking about practice.
Max Tooley. Cody Stutes, big fan of Max Tooley. Straight out of BYU. I don't want to say if he's a Mormon or not, but I think so. I think he's kind of a little bit older. When you're BYU, you're older. I always assume that you went on a Mormon mission. But if I'm wrong, it doesn't matter because you're on the practice squad.
We in here talking about practice.
And I don't know if it would qualify. Is that a race card?
Race car.
Or is that just a educated guess card? Who knows? And then we have Ezekiel Turner, and Zaire, however the hell you say it. So there you go. There's the practice squad. So boom, practice squad right there. In the spirit of that, I will give you a visual of what the roster looks like now. Maybe you'll kind of see the light. I think a lot of times when you just lay out the roster, I think that it kind of just the possibilities in your mind expand, and you start to kind of say, okay, I could see that kind of happening. So who knows? Yeah, religion card. I don't have a religion card drop. Who knows? I don't know. I just figured. How old is Max Tooley? He's a rookie, right? Max Tooley. Let's see. Max Tooley. Does he even have a Wikipedia page? Or is he like old because of COVID? Let's see. He's 26 years old and he's a rookie. Like, I mean, come on. He had to have gone on a Mormon mission, right? Had to have. Let's see, Max Tooley, Mormon mission. 26? That's old, man. Signs with Texans. No, it doesn't say anything about a mission. But yeah. Max Tooley. We hardly knew you, my man. See, nothing coming up with the Mormon mission thing. So who knows, man? That is Max Tooley. That is our Max Tooley quota for maybe the year. If we're being honest. That is our Max Tooley dive for the year. That's the quota. We just met it. So there's that. Let's make a bet. BetUS. Shout out to BetUS. You can get in the game in the with the link below in the comments. It's pinned. 125% back on your first 3 deposits up to $2,000. I started out with $2,000 in my account, and I took advantage of that special. Right now the account's at $1,820, but I have $200 bets. I have the over in the Danielle Hunter sacks, and I have the over in Stefon Diggs touchdowns which was about 5.5. So we'll wait for the Colts game. I actually took the let me see, what did I take? God, that's bad when you can't remember what you bet. Yes, I took the over 49 in the Colts game. So 110 to win 100. So yeah, we're way up. We're 1120 when you factor in the active bets. Let's look at some college football. Let's get in the college football mix for week 1. Let's see what odds we can get for week 1. That's NFL. We don't want to do that. We want to do college football. There's NFL, college football. What should I bet in college football? I think the Cougs are only getting like 1.5 favorites. So should I bet on the Cougs? I don't know, man. I like Willie Fritz, but I don't know if I should bet on the Cougs. I don't know. It's kind of risky. We'll just go down and we'll go to Saturday. We'll take early game. Oh, we got Texas, Colorado State, 32. 32 is a lot. 32 is a lot of points there with Texas. I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll go down to Notre Dame, Texas A&M, over 45.5. We'll bet that, and we'll put 110 to win a hundo. That's going to be a fun game. Wish I could go, honestly, because that's going to be popping, but it's an expensive ticket. So 110 to win 100. We got the over for Notre Dame versus Texas A&M, 45.5. We'll see if Mike Elko can get it done. You can get in the game in the link, but that's where we're at there. Shout out to BetUS for sponsoring, and shout out to you for seeing me probably start to lose bets. We will see. Cougs over UNLV. I like that bet. I might get in on that a little bit later. They don't have a third quarterback. Who is third quarterback? They don't have one. They're not keeping one. So that's where they're at. Let's hear from some of these underdogs. Let's hear from some Texans underdog players. Let's start with British Brooks. Here is British Brooks. Some people call him the British Bulldog. I don't do that, but I did get the first question in. Just basically start off by asking him, how did it feel to make the squad, and are you comfortable doing fullback things? Take it away, British.
The team, and notice you're getting some work at fullback. Is that something that you're comfortable with?
Just very appreciative of just, being a part of the team first and foremost, and just, like I said, being very appreciative of Nick and Coach Nico just giving me this opportunity. And really, I'm down for whatever they need me at, to be honest. I mean, I don't care if I got to play center or line, whatever they need me at, they want to hear a no from me.
Yes, what's it just like for you emotionally, sitting there waiting? I mean, you're not guaranteed anything in your position. Like, what's it like for you? And then when do you get a call or do you not get a call in your position?
I didn't get a call, but I guess it was very stressful. And then once I seen the roster, it was very emotional, just because, my past, and not even, dating back to college, but even before that, since I was a little kid, just remembering all the little things people say or people do and act or how they treat you. Like, it's just, very emotional day.
Chris, when they signed you, I think they did a deal that made it look like they want you around regardless 53 or practice squad. Did you always just think, hey, I got to make 53? I'm not thinking I settle for practice squad. I want to be on the regular team.
To be honest, I didn't think about it at all. I just knew, like, I'm going in here with the opportunity, like, just be a dog. Like, no matter what happens, if I did get cut or if I didn't, I got released or something like that, I know I put it all on the table, and I just, like, gave them all.
We saw you break tackles. I'm a dog. How would you describe your game, your running style, the way you approach football?
Like I said, just be a dog. Like, sometimes the finesse got to go out the window. You just got to go get it, be a dog.
I'm a dog.
2022, coming back last year, undrafted. Did you take a moment to kind of assess the challenges you've had recently to kind of feel good about what you accomplished in training camp?
Oh yeah, of course. Especially coming out the season last year and the year before that, it was like dark times for me. So it was a point where I didn't want to play football no more. I didn't want to see a football. I didn't want to touch football. I didn't want to talk about football. And then out of nowhere, I wake up and I call my cousin. He trains me for a pro day. So I feel like, I told my high school kids, like, a coach shouldn't ask you if you love football. Like, he should be able to see that you love football. And I think that's one thing that the people around me, they don't got to ask to see if I love football. It's always been, in my heart to be a football player.
British, when you were in high school, you walked on to the University of North Carolina. Did you kind of carry that same mindset when you got here and just having that experience of not knowing if you're going to make the team? Did that kind of prepare you for what to expect here?
To be honest, when I walked on to Carolina, it was more like that was another dark time for me because I wasn't getting heavily recruited. I felt like I should have been, but to walk on at Carolina, I was just going to go, do the 4 years, just, do school, whatever. But then I met Javonte Williams, Mike Carter, Antonio Williams, and them guys, really showed me what competition is about. So and I think that's why I really fell in love with it. And that's where I found my second love for the game. The first love just being, God giving me the ability to compete and fall in love with this game. And that second love was just being around people that wanted to compete, that wanted to see me grow. And then, as I got here, it was the same thing. I knew I was going to go hard, but once I seen, people in the running back room, I seen how Jalen Petrie worked, I seen how a lot of these dudes work, I just needed to, up my game a little bit. So I know I had to, really give my all every day.
Talking about those dark times, who were you able to lean on during those times? And when you were going through this process, especially looking at the people that you were in the running back room with Cam Akers, Joe Mix, and Damian Pierce, who were you able to lean on and keep you motivated and positive?
All them guys, man. In college, going through that injury, a lot of it was with my strength conditioning coach, who was actually my cousin, AJ Blue. He was there for me, checking in on me. It was always me and him. I also got a dog. She was there, 24/7, pulling me around. I feel like, I tell reporters this all the time, I feel like my dog really helped me get back quicker because she's 130 pounds and we live on the 3rd floor, so I got to drag her up and down the stairs 3 times a day. So, I had a lot of good people in my circle, around them times that, I could lean on, and they were there for me.
Someone who was really excited for you was Mack Brown. What has Mack Brown meant to you in this journey?
When people ask me this, he really feels like a family member. I can call him my second grandpa. Me and him are literally close. And people used to, joke around at UNC and say I was his favorite because, he gave me, I got hurt, he gave me the golf cart. He always tried to baby me or do this, take me everywhere he went, PJs and stuff. But Max my dog for real. We tell each other I love you. I called him yesterday, it was his birthday. So that's one coach that I feel really believed in me, and that's another reason why I didn't want to leave. I didn't want to transfer. Matt Brown is really special.
You were talking about your dog being what kind of dog was she?
She is an XL bully. Her name is Athena.
And I know you about to.
What goes to Sergeant?
He mentioned Mack Brown. People don't give him enough credit. How mean is his shoe game?
Man, don't let Matt fool you. Matt don't pick them shoes. I'll keep this between us though. Matt don't pick them shoes. They put it on his desk every morning. A lot of people don't know that, but he gonna put it on for sure.
Blew the cover.
Thank you.
There you go. It's British Brooks. Shout out to Mack Brown. Love Mack Brown. I'm glad he's still enjoying himself and coaching, impacting young men's lives. That's British Brooks. Man, the local media types are just eating up this British Brooks thing. I mean, they are in love with this guy. I mean, I don't know. I didn't watch the local news today. I imagine he was the story of the day. Goodness gracious. Case Keenum, by the way, asked Caserio and Nico about Case's impact on the team. You can check this out on the practice stream from earlier today, but they basically said that he's a coach. They didn't say that he's going to be a coach in the future. They didn't want to speak for him, but Case impacts us by being around, all that type of stuff. He's a coach. He's going to be a coach. We've been talking about it. He's destined. Whenever these guys go, he's going to be ready to go. So that's where they were. Blue Boy, don't get carried away. He reminds me of Larry Johnson. Come on, man. Larry Johnson was cold. If the Texans had Larry Johnson in his prime, oh my God, we would be talking Super Bowl. Don't ruin a good thing. Don't ruin a feel-good story by being crazy. Goodness gracious, Blue Boy. Love you though. Next comment here. Johnny says British Brooks at fullback excites the hell out of me. I don't know what will come of it, but stoked that we're trying this. Yeah, I mean, they're going to try a lot of things at fullback. They'll figure it out. Matt Jackson says the Texans need to scoop up Oren Burks. Harris is missing time, and I bet probably more than the minimum 4 weeks on IR. Burks would start next to Azir and knows Nico's system from San Francisco already. What makes you think that he's missing more than 4 weeks? He's been out all of camp. It's one of those soft tissues. Maybe it's longer. I don't know. But I'm not gonna bet. I'm not gonna bet on this, but that's a long ass time. I mean, that would be months. So who knows? Maybe it's more serious than maybe they're the Astros. They're like the Astros where you have a neck strain. Next thing you know, you're getting Tommy John. Who knows? But we'll see how that goes. But yeah, we did a video on this. Once Slowick or Gerard leaves, Case Keenum becomes a QB coach. Yeah, the end. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, let's hear from Miles Bryant. I'll be honest, I never heard Miles Bryant speak. I like Miles Bryant's game. Scrappy. I think he's going to do some good work inside. And it seems like kind of a real serious guy. It's kind of one of the more serious dudes. Here was Miles Bryant, number 30 in your program, as we continue to hear from the underdogs in the nighttime edition of the Locker Room. Get out of the way, Stoots. Get your ass out of the way, man.
You feel like your versatility here is a big reason why you're able to impress the coaches and be on this 53.
Yeah, I think that's, a big part of my game. Really starting from college, going to New England, and then now here, just, being able to play all three positions in the back end, whether it's corner, nickel, safety, and just, trying to go out there and, learn from the guys that are here. So, learning from Jimmy Ward, learning from Stingley, even learning from Kamari, learning from Peachy, E. Murray, just trying to learn, the best I can to go out there and help the team. A lot of stuff. You saw the way the team performed last year. You saw how they did. They were able to make the playoffs, made a run, and then this year, just trying to, stack on top of that and just keep building. And then I think the biggest thing was the culture here, though. I think, Nico drives a culture that's, built on becoming a better football player, but also, sharpening your tool as a man. So I think that was something for me that, really hit home and made me want to be a part of this culture.
Something that Aziz said earlier this offseason was he could feel the culture from the opposing sidelines. Were you hearing about the culture when you were in New England that was being produced out here at Houston?
Not much. We played them last preseason, and I think that was the first game of the 2023 season. So we didn't hear too much, but then I think as they made the playoff run and you start, the media starts talking about the playoff teams, I think you started to hear more and more about, the culture that's happening here.
Miles, what was it like waiting to hear whether you made the team or not? What was that anticipation like?
Every year it's tricky because they never tell you that you make the team. You just know that you haven't made the team if they end up, calling you in. So I think, you just try to, whatever it is, whatever your routine is on off days, you just try to stick to that, and then you hope you don't get a phone call.
Yeah. Is there a point in the day where you feel comfortable that you've made it because there's been no phone call?
Not really. I think, being around the league, now my 5th year, you always hear about, different stories. So I think once it got to the deadline, that's when you kind of, understand that you made the team, and now it's still time to put in work. So.
Texas talked about the wide receiver room versus talked about the running back room. What's special about just this entire secondary going this year?
I think it's the mindset. I think, especially with the guys that we practice with across from us, I think it's the mindset. We got a good group of receivers, but we try to go out there and, dominate. We try to go out there and win the matchups each and every day. So I think it starts with the mindset, and then, we just got a bunch of guys back there that can play ball. We got guys that can take the ball. We got guys that can tackle, penetrate in the backfield. So I think it's a pretty deep group.
What is it about that locker room that gives that family feel, that family culture feel?
I think it's just guys getting to know each other. I think that's where it starts. you can't really have a culture if you don't know who the guy to your left, to your right is, and what their values are, or how they were raised. So I think that's where it starts, and then from there, just trying to encourage each other, and then we talk about iron sharpening iron. Every time we step out here, we try to push each other to get better.
What would you say are the strengths of your game?
I think one, always being in the right spot. I think that's the first thing. We always talk about alignment, assignment, technique. So I think always being in the right spot, and then two, just going out there and trying to make plays to change the game, whether it be, like I said, penetrating the backfield on a blitz or a run, going out there, being able to cover, being in the right spot in zones, and just trying to get the ball back for our offense.
Preparation starts for Indianapolis right now, but have you had just a moment to yourself to appreciate what you've accomplished to be able to make this 53-man squad and be proud of yourself for being able to make it this far?
Yeah, I think every year that I've been able to make the 53, because my first 2 years I didn't make the 53, so I know what the other side feels like. So I think each year, I take a little moment for myself. I'm proud to say that I made it, but I mean, the work doesn't just stop there. It has to continue. We got a long season ahead of us, and we got goals that we want to achieve. So I think the work it's time to turn it up even more.
Being someone that's had to earn their way on the 53 after missing 2 years, is there a certain hunger that you enter every preseason with to make sure that you don't have that thing?
Oh yeah, for sure. I think it's a matter of going out there, and it starts in the off season. Just trying to prove it, just trying to go out there, earn it every day. And I think the great thing about the NFL is no spots are guaranteed. It may seem like, you have a big superstar who's, guaranteed a spot, but I think each year there's always a surprise. So, you got to come out here and earn it. And, that's the thing I love about the league.
Damn, Cole Thompson loves him some Miles Bryant. Shout out to Cole Thompson, college football. One of the go-tos there. He was foaming at the mouth, man. Find you someone who loves you the way that Cole Thompson loves Miles Bryant. I think he was like 5-6 questions deep there. But shout out to CT. Shout out to Miles Bryant. I think he's an interesting guy. Line up inside. So the Des King between Petrie and Bryant being able to do what he can do. I think King was just kind of disposable. So that's where we got. We'll get to the visual of the roster in a sec. First, though, we got to hear from one more guy. This guy, I'm a big fan of him. Going back to the Big 12 days, Xavier Hutchinson. He made the team. We wondered, was it between Hutchinson and Mechie? Xavier Hutchinson beat out Noah Brown. Like that's the reality of the situation. Xavier Hutchinson beat out. He beat out Noah Brown. Now, maybe the fact that there's a little bit of availability there factored in, who knows? But he did. So we'll get to that in a sec. First, Dietology with the Super. Thank you very much for swarming the Super.
You ain't never hate.
Swarm. Elam Bradbury, Eric Stokes, trade for one. No, I would not. I would roll with what you got right now. I like the guys that they got. I'm not really a big Bradbury guy at this point. I think they're fine. Someone else asked about Xavier and Howard. He's not going to come here and be a number 3 corner, which is what I think they would want Lassiter to be. So now Dietology, I appreciate you very much, but yeah, I don't think that would be the best option. But who knows? We'll see what they got to do. Let's hear from Xavier Hutchinson, guy who made the squad. He's pretty giddy about it. I asked him, you'll hear me in the middle of this, ask him, man, did you at least get to enjoy this? Here's Xavier.
Talked about after the game, left it out there. You said you felt good no matter what the decision was because you couldn't do anything else.
Yeah.
How does it feel now to get the news that you did make the 53 again and that you're a part of it?
Yeah, I mean, it feels amazing, honestly. A lot of my hard work paid off. And they kind of saw the growth that they wanted to see in me, which is always, that's always a plus. And, that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to grow, become a better player for this team. And also just really doing something I love. So anytime I'm able to keep doing it, I'm happy.
Where do you think you grew your game this offseason?
Definitely just winning him more of my feet. That was something that kind of the coaches all challenged me on. To really stop being so handsy at the top of my routes, to just trust my feet. And that's really what I locked in on. I just locked in on just trusting my feet more.
That's really specific. That's some good coaching right there, and that's some good understanding. And it might seem like a small thing, but that being able to be that coachable at this point in your career, where it's probably been a little bit easier for you, that's the difference between staying in the league and perhaps playing in the XFL. And you can see the development with this young man.
With just certain drills that I was doing over the offseason, I feel like it kind of showed a little bit. So.
Nico told us a couple of weeks ago that you all sit next to each other and when you're watching film in the position room during the offense. How important has he been for your growth in the NFL?
He's been a big part, honestly. 12 is my guy. If there was to be like a ride or die type of group, that would be him for me. 12 means the world to me. I mean, everything that he's done for me. He didn't have to take me in underneath his wing. Yeah, he did, and I feel like that speaks about him as a player and a man. But honestly, just being able to just bounce things off each other. If we had a problem with a rep, I'm gonna ask him, what you think I could have did, or what you liked about it. And it's vice versa. I feel like so to have a guy like that in the room. For me personally, that's huge, and I give a lot of credit to 12 for, a lot of the things that I've been able to do with growth-wise this year.
Go ahead, sorry. Just a quick follow-up is, because you all have similar builds, how much do you pad in your game after him as well?
Yeah, I definitely try to look at it a little bit. Obviously, he got like 3 inches on me probably. He's a big human, but to be honest with you, I just try to look at just certain things, just, his body composure. The way that he uses his length, and at times how he uses his physicality and his frame. I think those are 2 things that I've really studied from him, just in practice and just kind of looking back over the games that he's played. When he doesn't want to be physical, but he will be physical if he has to be physical. And I feel like that's something that I've been trying to attain in my game, and just trust a lot more.
So you made the 53 was obviously pretty competitive. Obviously, there's still work ahead. Do you at least get to be a little bit proud of yourself when that happens? Is there at least a brief moment or something like that?
Yeah, for sure. I would say at 4 o'clock, that was the brief little joy that I got right there. I just got to text my mom, text my dad, and really just be around my girl. And just, I just have the love, the true love and compassion, just pure joy around me. Just seeing them, be happy for me, just naturally kind of rubs off on me. I was happy. I enjoyed it, of course, but also, like you said, I got a long journey ahead of me, and this is only, the stepping stone of what I want to continue to do.
But you didn't hide your phone. You kept your phone out there.
Hey, I had to keep my phone on me. Yeah, I would. I hope I don't get that call, but I kept it near me at all times.
Actually, you took the step forward during preseason this year. Another guy that did this job in that sheet. How does he push you to be a better player in the locker room?
Yeah, I think honestly, when you have a group of guys in the room that can all play, it's going to naturally just make you better. With Mechie, I think, we were kind of in the same, I wouldn't say same area or same bubble, but, he had some things that he had to work on, just getting back from health and everything. So I think, I feel like we didn't say it, but we just kind of naturally challenged each other to really just try and reach our full capabilities. I'm proud of Abe. He deserves this. He worked hard for it. I can't wait to see what he does too this year.
Another guy that made the team for the 53-man squad was Robert Woods, kind of a name that we didn't bring up enough, I think, during the preseason. What does he bring from the veteranship and just for the experience?
You brought it up.
Just his presence, honestly. I like to call him the OG in the room because he is kind of the OG, but just past his age and everything like that, just his presence, he's comfortable in any situation. You can really bounce anything off of him. He's there. He listens. He's a great veteran leader, which I feel like you can never have enough of those. And honestly, he's just a guy that everybody likes and enjoys to be around. So, I find it very hard for him not to be in that room and not to be around this team and help us get to where, this team wants to get to.
You and Henry sit next to each other, and Henry Toto sit next to each other in the locker room. You all are really good friends. What have you seen from him being able to step into the position that he's in, taking that next step?
I would say just growth and mindset. I think, last year it was hard for a lot of us as rookies just because you didn't know what was going on. Just to really see him be more himself, be more comfortable and, what he's doing on the field, and really just having that confidence, I feel like it's shown. He's not second thinking himself, and he's really just playing off just natural ability, which you love to see. I really feel like that's where he kind of took the step to his next game.
Dell, he helped you as well?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we help each other just by just keeping each other really present. I think it's very easy for yourself to lose focus or lose sight of what you're really here for at times. And I feel like me and him really bounced each other off. If he was having a bad day, I try to pick him up, and if I was having a bad day, he tried to do the same. So, Henry's my guy. He's not only just my locker mate, but that's a real true friend for me. So I wish him nothing but the best for sure.
Good.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
All right, there you go. Xavier Hutchinson. Happy for that guy, man. He worked his ass off. He improved. We talked a lot about Mitch. He worked his ass off. He beat out Noah Brown. Noah Brown was a big part of last year. Might have as much to do with the injuries as anything, but worked your ass off and you beat out Noah Brown. So I think you deserve a hell of a lot of credit for that. Let's get the visuals. Okay. We saw the 53 yesterday. We initially said the Texans got 5 running backs. I think they kind of got a fullback in British Brooks. That spot was blank. So let's just get the visual, and this might kind of help a little bit because now we can look at the practice squad, and the color code for this is. Let me just pull it up. Let's make this a little bit bigger. Okay. So the yellow is going to be practice squad. The red is IR. So we go to the side over here, and we have our quarterback situation. We have Stroud and Mills, so we're good there. We don't need to worry about that. Now, you might think they need a third. Maybe they bring in a third guy for the squad. Running back, it was 5. Let's change that to 4. Because, actually, we can't. 4 on the active, but we have Taylor as well. JJ Taylor's there on the practice squad, so we'll make him yellow. And I'm just counting the guys on the 53 in the number. I moved British Brooks over to fullback, so we now have one of those. No longer 0. Move British Brooks there. Troy Harrison's on your practice squad, so there's that. Wide receiver, we already knew the 7. Sims is around, and then we have Johnny Johnson down here. Tight end, we have Schultz, Jordan, and Stover. And then at O-line, we got 12 total O-linemen now. We got 9 on the active roster or on the 53. And then you add Irving, Sharp, and Z down there. D-end, we got 4. Will Anderson. He returned to practice today looking angry. Kind of. It was a walkthrough, so who knows if it would have been a full go. Daniil Hunter. Best player in camp, in my opinion. Barnett and Hughes. And then you have Bird and Fisher down there. I don't know that you can trust either one of these guys on the practice squad to be elevated. So that's a little bit terrifying. I would say that's kind of scary. Like JJ Taylor, if he needs to be your third running back, okay. If you need to put Harrison in at fullback, okay. I don't know that you're going to be that desperate. Johnny Johnson's been serviceable. If worse comes to worse, hell, we saw Austin Deculus start a game last year, so you got to think Irving and Sharp, maybe not Sharp, but Irving would be okay. Sharp's, that would be kind of scary. But at D end, I don't know that Bird and Fisher are really ready to go. So you got to think maybe they're going to work something at D end. DT, you have Fatakasi, Edwards, Davis, and Settle. Settle was out there today. Harris on the practice squad. I like the developmental possibilities there. You'll get Heinisch back eventually. I don't know how long. It's a soft tissue. It's short-term IR, so maybe a little bit sooner. We know we're not getting Autry till after week 6. So you're going to move him up to the 53, and then you're going to have to cut someone that's not highlighted. The linebackers, Jamal Hill, he's not going to be on the 53 for long. Let's just be honest about it. And then you have AAS, Henry Toto, Hanson, Hewitt, and Phillips. That's 6 linebackers. Phillips was he's all over the place in special teams. So that's a Frank Ross guy. You have Thule Turner on the practice squad, and then Harris on the IR safety. You feel good about all of those guys. Corner Ross, he's kind of the special teams guy. So kind of anticipate that there might be times where he's active, maybe. And then the other specialists we can see right there: Fairbairn, Townsend, and Week. So there you go. Just a little visual for you. I think it's good to see, what you have as the options at the practice squad as the visual as well. So that's where we're at. I do think the DN thing, you got to figure something out there. Easier said than done, but hell, they found Barnett last year and they brought him in, and hell, you feel really good about him. So hopefully they can work some of that magic there. And then obviously the linebacker depth, you're kind of treading water, although D'Amico said that he feels good about his linebackers. I wouldn't expect him to say if he didn't, but we'll see. D'Amico's got his work cut out for him right there in that front 7. We look at that front 7. You feel really good about these 2, maybe these 3. I like the way Fatukasi and Edwards looked in camp. We'll see. Khalil Davis, kind of an underrated player, and then we'll see. But the front 7 is going to be somewhat stressful. So that's your visual of the roster. So we'll see how that whole thing goes for sure. Autry getting suspended definitely sucked, especially if you look at how they spoke on him and what they said about him and what he was expected to do, because you can move him all along that D line. And, it'll be cool if he is what he was last year and the year before. It'll almost be like a trade deadline acquisition, except you're already paying. You've already committed to it early on. But that could be like some juice. Like if you start out pretty good and kind of the grind of the season, a veteran like Autry coming in, who Caserio called a badass, would probably not hurt things. So we'll see how that goes. Do you think we have enough lateral speed for the Colts? I'm worried about the Colts. I think the Colts are getting extremely disrespected in Vegas, and then that's just one element of it. But 8.5 wins seems kind of low for them. I think they're kind of quarterback proof, and they got Jonathan Taylor. But hell, maybe I'm overrating them. But I do think – I also think Shane Steichen's a guy. I think he's one of the really, really good offensive minds that he's been preparing for this game for who knows how long. And quite frankly, him and D'Amico have a history. You go back to the Philadelphia, San Francisco days, they have a history, and they have the history last year. So I respect Shane Steichen a lot. I think he's a really, really good coach. I know the Texans liked him a lot too. Had D'Amico gone to Denver, I think Shane Steichen's the coach here. Pretty good authority on that, not pulling that out of my ass. I think he's the coach here, so they have respect for him as well. And I think we're going to be talking about him versus D'Amico for a while. So that does make me a little bit nervous, the fact that this is if it were week 2, I'd feel better, although week 2 last year, he put together a hell of a game plan. That was where Richardson went out, but I would feel a little bit better than grudge match, home, all that preparation, and everything going on there with him. So we'll see. But I have respect for them, and I have respect for you for joining me on another edition of the late night stream. Thanks again to BetUS for sponsoring this video. You can get 125% back on your first 3 deposits up to $2,000. College football starts this Saturday. I know I just took the over in the A&M Notre Dame game. It's kind of scary to bet college football. If you don't want to bet college football, pro football starts in about a week, and that's going to get really, really, really fun. Appreciate y'all for coming through. Subscribe, right along. Texans off tomorrow. No off days here, though. We'll have some content coming up. Swarm that like button. Always remember, when it comes to this Texan stuff, we're all in it together. Be on the lookout for some more projects with myself and Cody Stutes. And shout out once again to BetUS, and shout out to you for coming through.
We got taste for days, opinions to give, we got takeaways.